So just to talk about doing business in Jamaica. Our job at the consulate is to answer that question for my colleague here. The purpose of the consulate is to facilitate discussions between businesses and the private sector in our own countries. And so our doors are open for you to reach out. The session is short, so we won't spend time in going into detail in all the sectors, but feel free to call the consulate, call us up. The cards are not sold, as he highlighted. So make sure you collect one, and we'll be happy to continue the discussions after. Jamaica, a little bit of did you knows here. Jamaica is the #1 place in the Caribbean for doing business, according to Forbes magazine, and that relates to primarily the ease of doing business. The question arises: how do you do business in foreign countries? There are many where you have to have a partner to be a shareholder in the business. There are restrictions on foreign exchange leaving the country, all kind of obstacles or processes that are set up. In Jamaica, it's a free country to do business for anyone, whether you're Jamaican national or any other nationality. Jamaica ranked the second most attractive country for medical tourism, and in the category of attractiveness, I think the first was Costa Rica, then there's Jamaica, Brazil, Italy, and Greece. That of course contributes to why we have a large number of visitors to the island. There are many well-known spots for visitors to enjoy: the Duns River Falls, the 7 mile of white sand beach in Negril, and of course all the other food, rum, and plants that are consumed on the island. So the news is out. Jamaica is a very exciting place to do business. There have been tremendous gains in the area of tourism, in the area of outsourcing. There are a number of Canadian companies who have their contact centers operating in Jamaica, servicing North American clients. The market is about 20,000 agents who are servicing some of the top retail chains in North America, from Target to Amazon to Walmart, you name it. They are done on the island. And despite the small size of only 3 million people, the brand Jamaica is known very much across the world. I want to highlight one thing here. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, incidentally, was the #1 performing exchange in the world last year. It grew by 80%. So anyone who had invested in the Jamaican Stock Exchange at the time would be 80% richer at the end of that year. Incidentally, it has a junior stock exchange, which is tax-free, and that attracted a large number of small and medium-sized companies who recorded several huge gains over that period in that transition in order to get them started up. So it's a hub for startups. My colleague there asked earlier about the startup scene. That is a very active area in Jamaica as well for app development. And if you want to get involved with supporting companies, you can also speak to us there.
To you, Africa is very big. You can fit India, you can fit China there, you can fit US easily. But if you were to look at this region only, just that region, that's where you have about 700 million consumers. That's a big market. And from the Canadian side, we've seen a lot of interest because Canadians have been stuck with the South, their neighbors, for a long time. They didn't know anything else. To them, the world meant going to the US. But now Trump is a threat, and I guess they have to look elsewhere. And they woke up late for China anyway. It was very late when they started looking at China and India, very late. So they'll be late for Africa as well. But we'll give them space, as we do. One of the things that Africa is doing as a continent, and I'm talking to some of the AU structures that are working on some of these things, especially on the mining side, is to encourage each and every country to have certain structures, governance structures in place, such that mineral resources don't just get taken without being processed or value add in that country. It's the same problem that Canada has got, that resources are just taken without any value add in those countries. And that's what we need to still deal with. It's a challenge. And I don't want to say it's a problem, I'm saying it's a challenge. A huge buzz about music and the realization from many big production companies or music recording companies about the African continent, especially because of the rise of the digital platforms and across the African continent. But over and above that, I've just told you that just the sub-Saharan region, you have about 700 million consumers, who most of them would have cell phones, by the way. So if you have that, then of course they can get music, they can buy music, they can buy sounds. And that's why a lot of these multinationals now on the music side of things, they are starting to notice that, and they are setting up and throwing in money, and a lot of investments in that we have seen. Fortunately, some of them are based in South Africa, I know for a fact, and we have been dealing with them. On the films and related industries, there's a lot also. I mean, Nigeria now is dominating when it comes to movies. I mean, when they started, everybody laughed at Nigeria, the Nigerians. I mean, they could not need any of those fancy cameras. They would do that with a cell phone, do the whole movie with a cell phone. And that changed the world in terms of how they perceived the filmmaking, and it's been very courageous. Right now, all the international film festivals, I mean, TIFF calls us. We don't call TIFF. TIFF calls us. You know, and to me, even in the US, it's the same thing. And for me, that is progress. And we're not just talking people that are just actors. We're talking producers, behind the scenes guys who are of African descent, and they are there. They go back and do these things. South Africa has been one of the top favorite destinations for making films. In February, I facilitated about 7 film productions from Canada. Each one of them not anything less than $5 million. And you can convert if you like. But there are many, and I can give you examples. For instance, Book of Negroes was done in South Africa. The Safe House, Denzel Washington was done in South Africa as well. There are many that I can count. But we have seen a lot of that happen.